Hey, good morning, everybody. It is two live recruiters here this morning.
Back again for the first time.
So we are trying this format again. We're going to do the. Sorry, can you hear me clearly, Shane?
I can hear you loud and clear.
All
You
right, I
sound
need to
great.
get close to a microphone because I know that my voice can be a little irritating. So why not hear it in ASMR? So we're back again today. We're trying this new format. We're doing the video along with the audio, and I think have we worked all the kinks out? Do you think, Shane?
I mean, I don't know. We're going to find out today, though. Or we
Do you
going to find
think?
out they're going.
Because we did it twice last week. The devil was trying to stop us from being great. Okay.
Yo, he put up a good fight, though. I'm not going to lie. That nigga had hands. He had hands last week.
The devil played too much.
Yo, he was throwing haymakers.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, like my head was about to explode trying to edit. And I know that you were trying to edit video and I
Bro.
was trying to do audio and the audio wasn't my audio was terrible last week. So I was like, okay, what will I do? I will the audio from the video portion from StreamYard was
Yeah.
good. So I was like, I'll take my phone and I'll turn on Anchor and then I'll record our voices. And then my girlfriend, my sister, Tamika was like, girl, just extract the audio.
Boom.
I was like,
Thank God for
oh,
Tamika.
like 2 minutes, if that. So, all right. So who are we, Shane?
Man, we're two live recruiters. We are two seasoned corporate veterans who are here to pass along the trauma that we received to everyone else, and hopefully, you will have an easier time dealing with the things that we had to deal with.
Absolutely. Okay. So today we're going to talk about Easter because Easter
Facts.
is this Sunday. So it's important. Easter is very important, but I also think it's important to talk about candy. So,
That
um,
is that not why Easter is important? I'm sorry.
no, absolutely not.
No.
Please, no, no, no. It's
Oh,
no,
that's
it's a
funny to
no.
me.
Christ died for our sins, and yes. So no, I'm not belittling that, but
And
we're
let
going
the
to talk
church
about
say Amen.
right. We're going to talk about the candy portion. So we're going to talk about this great article that Shane found about these duped Secret Service agents, um,
Dummies.
the couple that we should be talking about,
Mm,
and
mm.
then oh, what's fun is that Georgia new concealed carry law. You
Oh
don't
man, it
need
is the wild, wild west in
it
Georgia,
just
ain't
got
it?
passed yesterday, right?
You're right. You're right. So a couple weeks, yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. Yeah,
Okay. All right. And
Georgia out
then
here in
and
these
then our
streets, man.
big topic, like for just for everybody out there, is 10 signs it's time to find a new job. So all right, so Easter candy. So yesterday, Shane and I got into this discussion about candy. So I was telling him that I had just a candy fest this past weekend. Well, sweet fest. I had Krispy Kreme donuts on Saturday, and bought my husband a bag of peanut M&Ms, and he likes to put them in the freezer. So Shane was like, "Oh wow, I'm intrigued by that. I'm gonna have to try it." And he was like, "Well, first of all, he said, what kind of M&Ms? Like peanut butter?" I was like, "Absolutely not. Do they even make those?" He was like, "Yes, they're delicious." So, which got us talking about Reese's Pieces, which are like the whatchamacallit of candy,
You
which is
must be outside your
disgusting.
mind. Reese's Pieces is the pinnacle of candy. Do not get on here being blasphemous
No,
about
when I
Reese's
when I have
Pieces.
night in my dreams, when there's food, it's always disgusting. And like if there's candy, it tastes like whatchamacallit. So when I bite
Well,
into it, I'm like, yuck, like I immediately get a stomach ache and it usually it wakes me up.
Reese's
So
Pieces are top tier candy. I don't know.
Reese's cups are the bomb, and mini
Nah.
Reese's in the freezer are very good too.
And then the
So
smaller you go to Reese's Pieces, then now you
they don't
talking
taste
about
anything like they don't taste anything like Reese's cups to me.
dude,
Nothing.
Reese's Pieces. They're not supposed to. They're supposed to taste like Reese's Pieces. Like
Yeah, anyway. But so I got into an argument, not an argument, discussion with my sister Kelly yesterday too, because we're talking about not no, we were talking about Easter candy. She loves what is she I said I don't like any of it. Peeps, jelly beans, hollow eggs.
I'm confused. What are peeps? Like peeps just seem are they just marshmallows? Like colored
Yeah,
marshmallows?
yeah, with some sugar on it.
Peeps are
Yeah.
disgusting. I gotta ride with you on that one. I can't fuck
Well,
with
she
peeps.
likes jelly beans, and then when I think of jelly beans, I think of those big, nasty, sugary jelly beans. And then she's
No.
like, "No, what about the Jelly Belly ones?" I was like, "No, the Jelly Belly, or the no, I won't say organic, but the specialty jelly beans. I'm
No.
here for, like, especially with the fruity flavors like watermelon or grape
No.
or popcorn. They have
Hey,
popcorn flavor.
side note, I don't like anything watermelon. I am born in the Virgin Islands. See the VI flag behind me. I'm black as fuck. and I hate watermelon. I
How is
need
that
I need to
possible?
come to the pulpit. I am a island boy through and through, and I hate watermelon too much. Anything melon, watermelon,
Cantaloupe,
cantaloupe, any melon,
honeydew
anything,
melon.
and I do not. I can't fuck with melons in
Oh
any
my
way, shape, or form. Don't know
gosh.
what happened as a youth, but someday as a youth, and I hate watermelon. Sometime happened. Something happened. I don't know.
That's crazy. Well, so
Nah,
that's a
but
can.
yeah, but jelly beans, they're bottom tier candy. Like jelly beans are the candy you go to when you have no other options. When you're like looking around your house and you got nothing left. And here's how you know jelly beans. Boom, I got it right. Here's how you know jelly beans and peeps are nasty because they don't get given out on Halloween. Right? Any top tier candy is given out for Halloween, and you never
Reese's
see
Pieces are not given out for
Reese's Pieces are
Halloween.
given out all the time. Yo,
No,
Reese's
they're
Pieces
not.
are given
When
out.
I
I give
buy
them
the
out.
mixture,
I give them
I
out.
get there's Reese's cups in there. There's no Reese's Pieces. Never, ever, ever in the nickadom of Halloween has there ever been Reese's Pieces. When you get the giant like 400, and I know because we get about 600 kids in our neighborhood, so I buy like the biggest bags of candy. I buy like about 100, sometimes $200 worth of candy.
Right.
Last year I did couldn't because I couldn't find any, so I
Oh
just
yeah,
had to,
last
and
year
it was
candy was gone. Yeah.
and I just put it in a big like cooler and sat it out and was like, take two. And yeah, those fools. It was gone
I
in
did
like
that
30
one
minutes.
year. Oh man, when we were really broke and early in our marriage, I took a big ass bowl and I put it out in the front, and then I put a note in it, take one, but I left the bowl empty, so it makes it look like I put candy out there, but somebody else took all the candy.
Like, oh, you were just
Oh,
2 seconds
you
too
just
late.
missed it. Nah, we were too broke for me to buy candy, bro. So that
Oh
was
my
awesome.
gosh.
That was
That is
fun.
so funny.
All right, yeah.
Okay.
So jelly beans are
So,
nasty.
yeah. All right. So let's talk about these. Tell everybody about these dupe secret service agents
You
and
know
how insane this is.
when you think that some tier of our government is competent and on point, you would think it would be the Secret Service, right? That would be Secret Service, CIA, FBI, Homeland Security. You think of those, you think, oh shit, that's top tier shit, right? Like you can't get any better, any tighter of security than the. Well, no, that's if you're a white man in America and with a gun and some camo, you can impersonate anyone. So two men masquerading as this via New York Times, two men masquerading as Department of Homeland Security officers in Washington duped not one, not two, not three, but several, up to four members of the Secret Service, providing them with tens of thousands of dollars in gifts, including rent-free apartments, says the federal prosecutors. One of the men even told several people he had connections with Pakistan's intelligence agency. Four members of the Secret Service agency who are charged with protecting the president and the president's family, have been placed on administrative leave while the case is being investigated.
Can you
Bro,
tell me how this happened? Like, how did they meet? I'm so confused by this.
we are all confused by this. Like it is they don't really go into saying how
So basically,
they
these
met.
dudes just showed badges and said, I'm one of you." I mean, if there aren't many Secret Service people, are there? Wouldn't you think they all kind of see each other, at least on a Zoom call or
You
something?
would think that they would know who each other were, right? Like you would think that there'd be some way. Apparently, these men they had uniforms, they
Okay.
had IDs, they drove around in a black SUV equipped with emergency lights. They described as official Homeland Security vehicles.
Oh, they said they. Oh gosh, I'm just
So
okay. That's.
basically, these men just said they were Homeland Security, drove around in the truck, had the look.
I guess yeah, because Homeland Security. I guess there's a lot of them. I don't. But how do you get free stuff? How does that's like inventing Anna? Did you see that on Netflix? Like the girl that pretended to be the
No,
uh the heiress,
no, I
the
never watched
German
it.
heiress, and she was like, "I've got $40 million waiting in a trust for me," and everybody was like, "Okay, we'll give her money because she said she has money." Like she never paid for
Was she
anything.
white?
Hmm.
Yeah, I think that's the key in all
Yeah.
these stories. That's the
Okay.
underlying word.
Well.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
All
can
right.
you picture me and my homie going up to some Secret Service agents and be like, "Yo, we Homeland Security, bro. What's up? Come hang out with us." No, that don't work, right?
We're gonna need to talk to your supervisor. Okay.
Oh man, we will get shot. Two black men walking up because these dudes had assault rifles. They had all kind of ammunition on them.
So do you not think they were? Oh, so but there's But clearly there's black Homeland Security officers or whatever. I'm
Mm.
sure there are, and they're black Secret Service.
But do you think I can just walk up on Secret Service and tell them I'm Homeland Security, and
If
they'd
you
be
had
like,
on the outfit in the
and you'd be like,
car and
okay, they'd be like, okay, Bob.
oh.
No, then I can't hand them an apartment and be like, here, come stay in
Why
this
do you get
apartment.
free stuff? That's what I'm just trying to figure that out. That you get what's up with the free stuff? So they're on it. These dudes are on administrative leave, and the
Yeah.
ones who impersonated are in jail.
No,
The way
they're
they
out on
try.
bail. Of course, they're out on bail. Let's be honest.
Oh,
They're out on
hmm.
bail. They're out
Okay.
on bail. You
All
know, sounds
right.
about white. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Sounds about white.
All
Now,
right. Well,
now in Georgia,
yes.
you guys have your wonderful state legislature, who a couple months ago said that it was okay for anyone to walk around with a gun, right? So anyone could open carry in Georgia for the last few months. But you guys didn't think that was good enough. You're like, how do we make this even harder for black people? Let's go ahead and say everyone can carry a concealed weapon now without a license, right? So,
I'm just I'm puzzled by that. I have a friend of mine, a good friend from Pittsburgh, whose dad was a member of the NRA because he was like, they're, I mean, they're black, and he was like, I just want to know what they're up to.
ooh,
That's why I go to the meetings. Like, I go to the conferences because I want to see what they're up to.
right.
But what do you? I know this was fueled by the NRA, but what is the goal? What is
I
the
mean,
goal?
basically, they did that with Texas as well, and now they're doing it in Georgia. I think the goal is to take away any sort of restrictions from the Second Amendment, because the NRA is sponsored by, of course, big gun organizations.
Right.
So if big gun can get all the restrictions on you buying guns taken away, then that's more profit for big gun. But if you are black,
Jeez.
you got to think about this on a whole nother level. So
Right.
if cops already think you're a threat and you live in Texas or Georgia, now they're going to immediately assume
That you're
that you have a
carrying.
gun, because anybody can carry without a license. So now I think like laws like this play out worse for us as black people, because now it
Mm-hmm.
gives law enforcement, dirty law enforcement, even more of a reason to shoot without asking, to think that we're a threat, because now they can just assume that everyone that they pull over is carrying a weapon, since there's no longer any sort of ways to track who has weapons or not.
But they have to be the guns have to be registered, right?
Yeah,
Like
if
you
you buy a
can't.
gun, you're in the system.
You're in the system, but so we already barely have background checks, right? Because if I buy from a private dealer, I don't have to go through a background check, right?
Yeah, that is, private dealers are supposed to report the sale, but
But there's no background check, right? If
no,
it's
you
private,
can
I would
just
just,
yeah, you can just go to like one of these little gun shows and buy a gun.
and that's where that's the loophole, right? That's where most of the guns are purchased through at gun shows, right?
Yep, I can tell
Okay.
you, I have a guy who builds guns for me in out of Texas,
Mm-hmm.
and he builds them and he sends them, and I just go buy them. Like he sends them to my local gun store, and
Okay.
I'll go pick it up from the gun store. Now, of course, when I pick it up from the gun store, they register me in the system as buying this assault rifle. But as far as just buying it from him, you know,
Yeah,
just buy it. Just here, here's my money,
it's
build the
going to
gun
be
I
the
want, and
okay
send it to me.
corral. I mean, literally, it'll just be I mean, yeah, I find that puzzling. I just find it so, and then it's funny because on the news they barely talked about that yesterday on the local news, but they talked
Mhm.
about there's a word for like all the guns that are shipped from the South
Mhm.
up to like Maryland, like the New York area, like
Yeah,
assault weapons, all types of things to be sold illegally. It's like they care about them being sold illegally, but
yeah, because those profit doesn't go back to big gun. Because if you're selling guns on the black market, big gun ain't
right.
getting their cut of the
Okay, so
fee. So big
okay.
gun needs to shut that little train down so that you can buy your guns legally and give us the profit. America's a capitalistic
Yeah.
country. It's basically a corporation, and
Absolutely.
so
Yeah,
anything
it
that
is.
generates money or doesn't generate money is a problem. I.e., why we have so much marijuana laws changing now, because now big pharma has figured
It's
out how
money.
to make
Yeah.
profit off of marijuana. So
Hmm.
that happens.
All right. So that's, I guess, man, that's, I'll be watching that one carefully since I'm in Georgia.
Are you
That's
gonna start
just,
carrying now?
no,
Oh my
I think
gosh.
I think I don't know. Guns scare me. I have a taser. So
I will fight you. You
I
and
have a
your
taser
taser.
baton. It's a
What is
baton taser.
What are you gonna do with a taser baton when
You
somebody
take
like?
you can get like you could beat them and tase them at the same time.
But if somebody has a gun, you have a taser baton, you
Oh
losing that
yeah,
fight.
I'm done. Yeah. Well,
Exactly. And
yeah.
so you're
I
in
mean,
Georgia, where
I keep it at home, so hopefully you're not hopefully,
let's not, it's not like you go out, right?
I
It's
don't
not
go
like you
out with
out
my taser.
shopping,
Right, not with my
like
but first of all, it's not. I'm not an alarmist, but I can't be caught out there in those streets. There's too much stuff. I can't go to the mall. I just shop online. I'm
yeah,
not.
Lenox Mall is always in the news for something.
Yeah, it's. I mean, last winter, what was it? Two teenagers. I think their plan was to rob the Apple store, so they were gonna grab the security guy's keys, end up shooting him. They were like 15 and 16. But I was like,
Shit.
what was your plan? The mall was closed. You're going to get his keys, and you thought you were just going to walk in the door and no alarms, nothing was going to go
Yeah,
off.
that's exactly
So
what they thought.
that's sad. I mean, it's really sad. But anyway, all
Now,
right. What
but
were you going to
another
say?
thing, like if everyone's carrying guns, Trish, that means you should carry a gun too. I
Well,
care about your
when I
safety.
moved here in Kennesaw, that's a town that's
Can you
north of the
please stop
city.
giving all your information, like
I
all
don't
the
live.
details?
I don't live anywhere near Kennesaw. That's okay. I live nowhere near Kennesaw, but that
Oh,
it was a law. There was an active law in the books that it was against the law not to have a
oh,
firearm.
that's what's
So
up.
they're just going back. They're just going
They're
back.
just going back the way it
Yeah, they're
was,
just
right?
going back. It was actually against the law for you not to carry a
That's
gun.
what's up. I
Yeah,
respect that. This is
I'm
they're basically saying this is the okay corral, and you need to
right,
be strapped up.
right,
Yeah.
right. They had sodomy laws too, so that was just on the books until just recently. So yeah, it's so crazy. All right, so this last story this is the couple that we should be talking about.
Bruh.
Jenny and Clarence Thomas,
Bruh.
not Will and Jada. Like
Not
that's
Will and
just
Jada.
stuff to keep you like cog the system to keep you
Yeah, to keep you distracted.
distracted and like, oh, look at the Jedi mind tricks. So Virginia Thomas is the wife of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, and she exchanged dozens of texts with Trump's White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. I think like 29 messages from like 2 days after the election up until like January 6th. Um, she and they're calling. I mean, they're calling for him to recuse himself for all the for the hearings right now or the investigations going on to June 6th. So other people are calling for him to resign. Of course, he's not going to do that. But so here. All right, I'll just read a couple of her texts. I hope this is true. Never heard anything like this before, or even hint possible. Watermarked ballots in over 12 states have been a part of Trump and military white hat sting operation in 12 battleground states. The Biden crime family and ballot fraud co-conspirators, elected officials, bureaucrats, social media censorship mongers, fake stream media reporters are being arrested and detained for ballot fraud right now and over coming days. I mean, it's not. I mean, that was fantasy. That wasn't true. On the 6th, she wrote, "Do not concede. It takes time for an army who is gathering for his back."
Hmm.
I mean, she's like, "Mark, I wanted to text you and tell you for days you are in my prayers. Help this great president stand firm, Mark. You are a leader with him who is standing for America's constitutional governance at the precipice. The majority knows that Biden and the left is attempting the greatest heist of our history." It goes on and on.
Yeah.
I mean, and so I guess that brings us to a good question or a point. Like, are does your wife influence you, or do you influence your wife? Like your views?
Here's how I can answer that question. Dr. Dre. Because in his divorce, the judge ended up giving Nicole $100 million, right? And
Okay.
the reason why she gave the Nicole $100 million is the same reason why Jeff Bezos' wife ended up getting $50 billion,
Mm-hmm.
because in a marriage, they believe that there is no way a spouse cannot be privy to business ideas and thoughts of the other spouse, right?
Well, they live in my house. My husband and I roll like We're on a need to know basis.
That
Okay.
is funny. So
He definitely has me on a need to know basis. So
they basically said like there's no way Dr. Dre made any of these deals with Apple, with Beats, without Nicole being aware of it or having some influence on it. So
oh
she gets
please.
$100 million of it. So because they, pillow talking, you just enjoyed
Yeah.
your spouse and you
What's
laying
pillow
there.
talk? No, that does no.
Oh, that's funny.
I know nothing of this.
Oh, that is hilarious. So, I mean, in my thought, Ginny and Clarence, after they're having their disgusting,
Okay, don't.
passionate sessions,
Okay.
they're laying in bed all floppy on each other, and she's telling him, you know, Joe Biden's stealing our country, and one of her quotes was that there's transsexual fascists in the fascist left, and there's America is in existential danger because of the deep state. Like she's whispering all this wild shit in his ear, and they think that's going to influence his rulings on the Supreme Court.
So you think that he thinks the same way that she does,
I
basically.
think that Clarence Thomas is just a man who likes vagina, which is evident by his
Wait a
history.
minute. So that means that she's run. I mean, that kind of puts
Yeah,
her in a
exactly.
position of power.
Most definitely. I think you don't think Michelle was having a little influence on what Barack was doing?
Oh yeah, because
Okay.
she was that woman. She's
Exactly. You don't think you're like, listen, I'm to look, women influence men all the time. Right. So Ginny is definitely influencing Clarence, and we need
but you don't think
to
that he could come up with these ideas on his own? Like he's not the one who's like, "Hey, I read this in the Crazy Times today. There's
no,
people eating
no.
babies
He's
and
doing what he has to do to keep her happy and to keep his life going well. Men get haircuts. We drive nice cars. We keep cologne on. Why? Because women like men who smell nice and who look like they're successful. Right. And
okay."
there's no difference. We know Clarence's history of whoremongering since he's been in the Supreme Court. So I think that he is going to do whatever it takes to keep his uh, Porky Pig looking wife
Oh my gosh, that's not
happy.
very nice.
Does she not look
I will no comment.
like what's the Muppet?
Miss
Kermit,
Piggy,
Miss Piggy?
that's
Does
not
she not
nice.
look like
I
Miss
will not.
Piggy?
I'm sorry. I will not take part in judging a woman on her looks. No, I won't. I'll have none of that. So you're on your own with
Listen,
that one.
when I get nice with this editing thing, I'll say stuff like this.
You'll figure out how to
Picture
take it
of
out.
Miss Piggy and then another picture
Oh,
of
well, we can't do that. Well, you have to do it for like small clips because if because you definitely can do that with StreamYard. You can add stuff.
yeah, we gonna figure this
But
out.
for the audio, for our core audience, the podcast, they'll be like they won't get that there's
Hey, they
something
can
up
go
on
look
the
it up.
screen.
That's funny to me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I definitely think she's influencing him, and if she keeps this up, he needs to recruit himself from the court.
Well, and I'm gonna be the Malcolm or the Malcolm to your. We're gonna switch then. Yeah, and I'll be Malcolm this week because my husband and I we don't talk about a lot of stuff. We don't.
You guys have a unique relationship.
Yeah, we don't. I
Like,
mean, we don't.
you're his sugar mama,
And
and you keep him in check.
my husband will say something like he'll say, "Hey, did you hear so and so?" And I'm like, and if I say what or oh no, what is it? And then he won't say anything else.
That's funny. You're like, yo, you got one shot to join this
He's
conversation.
like, yeah, right. Keep up. He's like Ian Putton, and if you're like you missed it, then you just missed
You
it.
get
I'm like,
one
one time
chance.
he started to kind of tell me and stopped. I had to Google it. I had to go Google what he was talking about. I'm like, how do you start? How do you say I'm going to have a conversation and then decide, nah, abort?
Listen, because you didn't marry him for his conversation. You married him for his young hot
But
body, right?
he's such a
And so,
great, but he is a great conversationalist. But he just rarely he's like how they say, well, that men what they want to be alone, but they don't want to be alone.
you're right.
That's him.
I tell my wife that all the time. Like,
He
yo,
wants to be alone, but in the living room.
exactly. I want to be next to you. I want
Or
you right here next to me,
yeah.
but please don't talk to me.
Yeah. I'll be upstairs and he'll come upstairs and um he'll turn the TV off or turn the light on so he can read his book and just sit there, then take a shower, double floss,
Listen,
and go to
all we
bed.
need is your presence. All we need is your
Yeah.
presence around us to comfort us.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, so what I'm saying, and my husband's a Republican and I'm a Democrat. And he's always been. He's very conservative. So he's not like, some of these, these people with these really loony ideas. He's just a conservative person,
Right.
fiscally conservative. So he's not you know, for people
I'm actually
telling you how to use
surprised that you're a
running.
Democrat because most successful, I find like a lot of successful, it's a secret amongst us, but a lot of successful black people are Republicans. Not because we,
For the
are,
tax?
yeah, exactly.
Oh.
We strictly for the money and the fiscal benefits that Republicans bring to the table.
Yeah, no, I don't see. I won't. Yeah, I, I am, I am fiscally conservative, but socially, I'm liberal. I'm very liberal.
Now you know I
I'm
am
like,
too.
don't
You know,
tread
I'm
on
about,
me. Let's. Everybody has rights.
I think everybody
These
does.
all those wedge issues, they just get on my nerves. Like we're fighting the same. And I don't want to get political, but they're just fighting the same battles
Right.
for years. Abortion, guns. Now we're gonna add critical race theory to that.
Oh
it's
my
just too much.
gosh.
It's too much. So, but on a lighter note, we're gonna talk about the top 10 signs that it's time to find a new job. And these
Oh,
are
you
not
got to go.
in necessarily any order, but everybody's had that feeling like, you know what, it is. Thanks for the memories, right? So,
Exactly. It's like your spirit knows. It's like breaking up in a relationship.
right,
You know it's time to break up long before you actually break up. It's like, ah,
right,
shit, it's time to go. And you
like
feel it at work. You walk into work one day, you're like, ah, fuck this. Nah, this ain't it for me
walking to work, yeah, like if you're doing that or logging on.
no more. You say if you just walking
You're
in.
logging on to work. So
Mm,
number one, and these aren't in necessarily any order, and you guys can, share your comments or, what how you knew. Um, it looks like a layoff or a furlough is imminent. So your workload has decreased significantly. The business is slowed as a whole. Key accounts are struggling with payment or are no longer clients.
mm,
So there's,
mm.
but I did talk to a candidate a couple weeks ago, maybe last week, and she had only been at her company for a month. They announced a layoff the day she started.
Whew. What
Yep.
position was she hired for?
She was in marketing.
I wonder if they hired her to help market the layoff in a better way.
Yeah, I don't know because the company they had headquarters. They had a U.S. headquarters and a European headquarters, and I guess whatever division she was in, that was getting eliminated. But they knew it before she started, right? But
Right.
didn't tell her. So yeah.
Man, that would be like a hiring manager hiring somebody and then quitting. Oh shit.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah. A hire. What? Okay, so let's talk that through. So you hire somebody and you tell them all these things, and then you announce to them the day they start that you're quitting.
Yeah, that's a reason. That's definitely a sign you should leave that company.
And your boss and her boss is quitting too.
Oh, everybody's boss. Yeah, maybe you should leave that organization now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So your start. So the interesting because we know someone this has happened to.
Facts.
She started day one. She finds out that her boss is quitting and that her boss's boss
Is quitting.
is quitting as
And
well.
no one told her when they
Nobody
hired her.
told her. Nobody told her. Nobody told her up and they let her on board and start, and then told her
Yeah,
then. Yeah.
such as like,
And then all the things that she was told there were possibilities in the role everybody had amnesia. Nobody knew what she was talking about.
right. Bet.
All right. So number two, and this one, every night feels like Sunday night.
Don't
Do
you
you
hate
remember
that?
that? Like, ugh.
Yeah, remember that shit just happened a couple days ago. That shit is fresh in
I
my
remember
mind.
that was
Just
on
48
Sunday.
hours. That was
That was
48
just,
hours ago.
I
What
mean,
you
there are,
mean?
some days like I'll have all like last Sunday was like Saturday was chilly here. I don't know how it was there. It was chilly here, and but Sunday was warmer. But I had all these plans, all these big plans for Sunday because Saturday I was protesting. I was like, I'm not going out in that cold.
Right.
It's April. That's ridiculous. So Sunday I wake up and I was like, I get up super early, take a shower, and I was like, I'm gonna go start my day. Then I was like, I'm going back to bed. And I just had this gloom and doom all day. And then I finally got moved at about 5 or 6 and I cleaned Jackson's room. I mean, like cleaned up everything, got rid of clothes, folded stuff, washed his clothes, put them away, stuff like that. And Yeah, and stayed up late. Ended up staying up really late watching From. I started watching From on
Hmm.
Epic, which with Harold Perrineau from the Best Man movies. It's good. It's like a combination of Walking Dead, Lost, and
Wait. You said from the Best Man movies? So
yeah, Harold. Yeah, the one that played Julian.
really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's the one you were telling me about. Bet.
Yeah, it's so and it manifests. So it's a combination of. Did you ever have you ever seen Manifest on NBC?
Yes,
Like the
I was watching Manifest before all you pandemic Manifest watchers
oh
was watching it.
really? I
I
could
was
have.
watching Manifest when it was on NBC and it got
Okay,
canceled. And then all of a sudden in the pandemic, everybody wanted to watch. Nah, I was one of the original Manifest
you're
watchers.
OG.
I'm an
Okay,
OG Manifest watcher.
that's funny. And I had to stop watching it because I was like, it was the girl, the police officer. She was starting to get on my nerves.
Yeah, that happened to me a couple days ago with the show called the Resident on
Oh
Fox.
yeah, you were telling me about
Yeah.
that. So yeah, so when do you start feeling bad? Like what time on Sunday?
Um.
And this is a sign. What
Usually
does it mean?
Usually it's like a Sunday night around like 11ish after my edibles have worn off. Because I really try to spend my weekends are spent elevating. And yeah, so right when the edible, it's like, fuck. Like tomorrow actually is like work. And then so I've developed a routine in which I basically go into my calendars and lay out my entire week.
Okay.
And so, right as I'm opening up my laptops to start organizing all my calendars, I'm like, oh shit. And I see the meetings, the hiring managers I got to talk to, and all that. I'm like, all right, cool.
It just drains you looking at
Yeah,
the
it just starts at that point in time. Yeah, and
just looking at the schedule.
that leads us to number three, right? When your well-being is suffering, when you're when your core person is
Mhm.
like just drained.
Mhm.
It's one thing to like to laugh and joke like, oh my god, I gotta work. But when you're actually like feeling emotionally drained at the thought
Mhm.
of maybe it's time to find someplace else to go, because then it's just not healthy at that point in time. It's just
Right.
not healthy for you to be going into that office, that environment, that culture. It's not benefiting you in any way besides a paycheck.
That's probably still for part of that because that's the like feelings of dread.
Hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. If and here it says like, but when every night starts like, then every night starts feeling like Sunday night. Then definitely, and every day feels like Monday morning, then it's definitely time. Number three on my list is there's little or no work flexibility. So I think we're finding this now, right? Like everybody was for the last 2 years was all, excuse me, they were all remote,
Yeah,
and now some people, even Indeed, is defaulting to remote. Like when you go to search for
yeah, it does.
jobs,
The job just
it
default
defaults.
thing.
So
Yeah.
it hasn't caught up again with the fact that there's hybrid as well.
Hmm.
So some people like who normally like maybe who were in New Jersey or Maryland or wherever they were somewhere that wasn't where their office is headquartered,
Right.
and they're being told, okay, we're hybrid now. We gave you a reload package. It's time to pay the piper. And people are like, I ain't trying to move.
Yeah.
Like I
No.
have been doing this job for 2 years
Mhm.
here
Successfully.
successfully, I might add. And so why do I need to come into the office? So there's that. Um, I think we talked about this before with I know somebody who works at a biotech company, and the executive admins had to come in daily, not even a hybrid. They had to come in every day to support people who were in maybe in other cities and maybe coming in 2 to 3 times a week, but they had to be there every day. So I mean, when you see that inflexibility, I mean this there's so much out there as far as positions. There's no reason to stay
Facts.
where there's lack of flexibility because you can find it someplace.
Exactly.
Um, all right, so number four on this list is your work performance is starting to slip. Have you seen that, Shane?
I mean, for have how do we
Have
say
you
this
ever seen that?
nicely? Yes, there's lots of people who work performance slips, but they don't leave. They just get promoted. You know,
Oh,
they get to fail up. Oh,
yeah. Sometimes,
yeah,
well, no, and sometimes it doesn't slip, and they've just been doing something for 2 years and 11 months, and they get promoted
yeah,
over. But
facts.
again, we like to be individual contributors, so we do not. As the kids say, we do not care.
We do not care,
Like,
bro.
cue the music. So yeah, I guess if you're just going through the motions, you're like, okay, like you said, wake up, check your calendar,
Right.
check your emails, go through your day with your Zoom calls, your Teams calls, whatever, rinse, repeat. So you're
But
kind
that
of going
kind of,
through.
yeah, go ahead.
No, you go.
I was gonna say, yeah, that plays into the fact that one of the reasons on my list is that you and your work aren't being appreciated. I feel like your work starts to slip when you feel like, what's the point of me? What's the point of me coming in here giving 150% if I'm
Coming
not
in
being
here.
acknowledged? Coming in here, right?
Hmm.
If I'm not being acknowledged, if my work isn't being appreciated, right? And so I'm sitting here busting my ass, and I still don't get any love for it. It's still just
Do you think? And do you think that is because we're hurting? We're all kind of low key hurting. Do you think that's why, like, we can't recognize greatness because we're all kind of burned out?
I'm just saying a lot of people get recognized no matter
Okay.
what. We aren't getting recognized in corporate America. I think we
Hmm.
need to understand that there are two corporate Americas, right? There's
Okay.
the corporate America for persons of Caucasian descent, and then there's corporate
Hmm.
America for persons of color. There's
Okay.
two. They are two different worlds,
Okay.
and so there are a lot of persons who are of Caucasian descent who don't work as hard as persons of color, and
Okay.
they still get appreciated, and they still get promoted, and they still get moved up. And then there are us who got to work 4 times as hard to receive some sort of acknowledgement.
Well, you know what? I mean, there's people. I mean, there's people who are bad at their jobs, no matter what they look like. But last night I was watching something, and they had a quote from our new justice, Katanji, Supreme Court Justice
Yes.
Katanji Jackson. She said it took one generation to go from segregation to the Supreme Court. I cried. I
Yeah, I'm
cried.
gonna I'm
But
gonna put
literally,
that.
when you look at what she's done, like her career over the other justices, she's the only person who checked literally every box.
But listen, that's how it always is, isn't it? Though,
Yeah,
don't we got to
yeah,
work twice as hard to get the same acknowledgement?
yeah. That's sad.
That is
That's
sad, but
sad.
that's
And
that's how
it's sad. It's
you
sad
know.
that you can't just can't recognize great, or even mediocre can't recognize great. That's a problem. That's really the problem. Is that there are some mediocre people out there. There are lots of mediocre people
Mediocre leaders who
who
won't.
are instead of thinking like, oh man, I should have the smartest team, the best team around me because they make me look good,
No,
even if I'm a bum. Like because I knew a lazy manager, and his reps did all the work, and they made him shine. Yeah. So and he was like fine with it. He was fine, and he put them on when he could. So
that's what billionaire Mark Cuban says. Like, he makes sure that he's never the smartest person in the room.
yeah, if
He
you're the
keeps
smartest
yeah.
person in the room, you need to be in a bigger room.
You need to be in a bigger room. Quote of the day: if you're the smartest person in the room, you need to be in a bigger room.
Yes,
Quote of the day.
absolutely.
Let me see
Um,
another good reason. I guess this kind of applies to a lot of people is you're not paid what you're worth.
yeah, that was the pay. Yeah, my number six was the pay isn't getting any better. So all right, so if that's happening, right? So you're like in this position, your pay feels kind of stagnant. What do you do?
You get another job.
You don't ask for a raise?
Fuck that. No, because listen, what Trish, we you and I both know that in corporate America, when you get raises within the organization, your chances are your raise is only going to be about 2.5% to maybe 4% of a raise within the company. But
Okay.
you leave a company, you can get 15 to 20% in your raise, in your salary increase by going to another organization. So I mean,
But what if you are not necessarily looking for money? I mean, because some people leave positions do they leave for the same money just because
no,
they just want to
because
do
this,
something
I
different?
mean, for this reason only,
Not in
right?
this
The
reason, no,
reason,
but yeah.
yeah, this reason we're talking about you're not paid what you're worth. So if
Okay.
you're just thinking about pay for this reason,
Yeah.
for
Okay.
this reason only, then you leave to go get a bigger pay jump because staying within the organization, you're only going to get maybe a 4% pay, and that's if finance is feeling really good to get that
Yeah,
four
but
percent.
okay, but what you like if you love the company you're at, you love your position, you're like this. I just need more. And if you go to your manager and they fight for you, even if it is 2.5 to 3%, does that's not that's a reason to leave?
Why love
Or
a
do
company?
you take your counter, which I never suggest that. Because if you give notice, right, and they're like, "Where are you going?" You're like, "I'm going to XYZ," and they're like, "Well, how much are they paying you?" And you tell them, and then they match. Like, you want to match now?
Exactly. That's like a slap in the face, right? Like, oh, so you could have did this the whole time,
Yeah.
but you didn't, right?
And I always
Like,
recommend, like, whatever reason, like, I'll see people stay because they're like, "Okay, well, I'm being appreciated now. I'm being recognized."
no, you're not.
But whatever that reason was you were going to leave, if it's not just money, it's always going to rear its ugly head.
Most
So,
definitely, right? Like you mentioned something, but you love your company. Don't I hear this, oh, I'm loyal to my organization. That's the topic we're gonna talk
mhm.
about, loyalty to companies. But I am familiar with the company in which an employee died while working out in the gym in the company, right?
Okay.
And everyone was
That's
sad.
awful.
Everyone was sad for a day. And then the next week, that employee's job was posted online because it needed to be backfilled.
Oh my gosh. Well,
So,
if yeah, I mean, if the
so stop
president,
being loyal to companies that's going to replace you in a week if you
well,
die.
they're going to replace you, but like that's just like if the pres something happened, heaven forbid, to the president, then there's somebody to step in. So there's always somebody to step in.
That's why you should
We're
always have a
all
company to
right.
step in, right? There should always be another company to step in.
So this one was interesting. You've learned everything you can.
Mm.
What do you think of that?
I think that is true, right? Because that kind of goes back to what you were saying about having incompetent managers, right?
Hmm.
So if you're in the IC position and your manager doesn't even know what they're doing, and there's no longer any sort of challenge being happening, you're not being challenged by your work. No one's giving you any certification classes to go take.
Hmm.
There's nothing within the organization. There's no leadership training programs within the company. Like you're just literally sitting there every day doing your job well,
Right.
but you're not being challenged anymore. You can literally do your job in your sleep. And I don't. What am I going to stay in this monotonous environment for?
Yeah, I know that in the past I have probably once or twice gotten comfortable in a role like, okay, I can do this in my sleep. And my boss was like, I need you to get out of your she didn't say it, I need you to get out of your comfort zone, but she was like, here, do something different. I want you to do this build out. I'm like, huh? I want you to run the whole thing. I'm like, she's like, it's only this many people, so and so will help you take care of it.
Yeah,
And yes, and I got experience that I didn't know that I wanted, but it's good to have. So yeah, I can see where you just get into a rut,
right.
get up, check your calendar, do your calls, eat your
And
cheese
keep it moving.
sandwich. Yep, and maybe work really long hours. But yeah. Anyway. Okay, so your workplace is toxic
Whew.
is number 7. So that you know what? Now that I mean a lot of us are not in the office or we're just in the office sometimes, hybrid or whatever the model is. And you wouldn't think that you could hate people via Zoom,
Mhm. Mhm.
but you
So,
can.
but you can.
You
Oh, you
can.
can.
Like just their face, just seeing. I mean, I have worked with people where I thought just seeing their face, hearing their
Mm.
voice, hearing them
Their
sigh.
voice. Someone's voice has literally made me hate an entire accent for a state.
Oh.
Oh my god. Yo, listen,
Oh no, I
listen,
work with a lady who sound like
listen.
remember in the Monsters Inc.
Yeah.
the boss who talk like
Oh
this.
my gosh,
I
yeah.
work with. I shouldn't make fun because I think that she may have had a medical. No, I think no, that wouldn't have affected her voice. She was just, and I'm like, you can change that. You can change how you can think about it and change. Like Elizabeth Holmes did it. She changed how she talked. Like you can
Apparently there's a video going around
change.
saying that Michael Jackson used to has a lower voice than what he talked with in public or whatever. Like he switched up his voice for public consumption. It was a lot higher. And then
Um, I could believe that because I've heard. Well, no, I've heard video that. Remember, Brashear, that dude who like did the interview with him and then left and came back. Didn't somebody get some secret audio? Like somebody recorded him. He
mm,
was drunk and he was talking to somebody and his voice was lower.
yeah, yeah. I mean we switch it up or whatever. No, but voices is that I literally hate an entire state's accent now for
Well,
when
yeah.
it
Well, yeah,
oh
but yeah, there's so as far as being toxic though,
yeah.
it's hard to. I mean, you have to put a lot of effort in to get on somebody's nerves when you don't even see them daily.
I mean, but toxic isn't just getting on your nerves, right? Toxic is like being a place where all the chips are stacked against you. Toxic
Yeah.
is where a VP can have a favorite on a team and kind of just walk that person up through
Are
the
you been
leadership
have you been reading
ranks.
my diary?
You know, like toxic isn't just negative all the
Annoyed.
time. Yeah, toxic is also
Yeah, people
extreme
who are
nepotism.
forces working against
Yeah,
sometimes, yeah. And I don't want to be an alarmist again, but sometimes there are forces working against you. Like you just want to do your job. You just
and
want
you
to do a
can.
great job. You just want to be appreciated. And and no, people they don't care. They don't care. They don't care
They
about the
don't.
work. They just
They care about
they
who they
just
care about.
right.
That's it. And again, and that's why you shouldn't care about the company you work for. You should
That
care about the
you should,
job you're doing, but you shouldn't care about the company you work for because the company don't care about you. That's it.
okay. All right. Let's see. You were at the point of quitting or being fired.
Listen,
I
I've
don't
been there before where I could just feel I was about to get fired. I'm like, nah, I'm quitting before you can fire me, homie. You will
like
not be able to
like we'll
fire me.
see we'll see who gets out of here first. um this says here, do your best to avoid doing anything rash, like quitting before you have a job. Because I always say it, or my dad always said, it's easy to find a job when you have a job.
Bruh, isn't it though? I swear I've never been more sought after for jobs than when I have jobs. It is like everyone's calling, everyone
Hmm.
wants your attention.
It's
Kind
like
of,
what's his name, Jermaine Dupri and Janet, like how
yeah,
right,
a
yeah,
job raises your status.
right.
You update your little LinkedIn page with that nice little name of that new company you're working for, and now all of a sudden it's like,
It's like
oh
catnip.
shit, oh you wanted him, oh I
Oh,
wanted
right.
too.
Slipping into your
Oh,
DMs.
I'm so tired of those calls, and they're obviously from an international call center,
Uh huh.
and they're calling to offer you a recruitment position. Oh, it just came across my job board or whatever, and then you start getting all the
Oh,
emails. Oh my gosh, yeah,
I
yeah,
never get those.
that because you probably don't even have your stuff on,
You
because
don't
you
get the. You don't get.
you
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 get
Trish.
calls.
Everyone knows you. Like you
Oh
don't have to
please.
you don't got to post your resume and
You
stuff
get
online.
calls.
Oh my
Oh, what?
god, I get at least 4 calls a day for jobs, at
You. How do they
least.
have your number?
I guess from I guess my old resumes on like
Oh,
Monster
they must
Career
be
Builder. I
doing
never pulled them off.
bullion. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
Okay. All right. Let's see. You want to make a career change.
Facts. Tired of being in
Um.
one area and you want to do something else. You realize, hey, I don't want to be in sales anymore. I want to go be a technical writer because I'm tired of talking to people. And so
I'm
you
sure
leave.
a lot of people during the pandemic have reinvented themselves. I mean,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
like people who worked in like wait staff, like they're like, you know what? I always want to do so and so. I'm gonna go do it. So,
You know what
you
I'm
know,
proud of? Shout out to Dress for Success is a great organization that helps
oh yes.
women get back into the workforce. They do a great job of helping women reinvent themselves to go from like being stay-at-home moms to
Hmm.
coming in transitioning in corporate America. Went to their gala a few weeks ago, and one lady got up there and gave her story and her experience of going from being a stay-at-home mom and Dress for Success helped her redo her resume, get some certifications, and she is now like a talent acquisition lead for a large company.
What?
Yeah, because they transitioned her skill sets into
They
what it
do
would
all
take.
that?
Yeah, they take you through resume classes, take you through certification classes, and yeah, so Dress for Success is dope in helping women reinvent themselves. We need a Dress for Success for men, for that. Yeah,
Yeah. Why
yeah.
don't they branch out?
I mean, if something's good, why change? I guess. I don't
I
know.
mean, to include. I'm just saying to include men. Yeah, yeah. That'll be who I give things because I always like to give away to the women's shelter when I give
Yeah.
you know, clothes or household goods away. But I'll have to
So
add them.
if you could reinvent yourself, if you weren't a talent acquisition
Oh
professional,
gosh, who would
what
that
would you
be?
go do? What would you like? You wake up tomorrow, you got 2 billion in the bank account,
Oh my
everything's paid off. You
gosh.
can go do whatever you want to do. What you gonna go do, Trish?
I'd start a foundation.
That's it.
Yeah, no, that's what I would do. I would start some sort of foundation, either for battered women
Hmm.
or something. I have to figure out something so that I'm not worthless. So I don't just sit around doing nothing all day and then rate, and then have kids look at me doing nothing. So it would have to be something that helps others. I want to, on that note, a good friend of mine, she was taking for her birthday. I think she's turning, when is she turning? 40 or 45? I can't remember. So she wanted to feed the homeless.
Hmm.
And I will say that you need to have a permit in Atlanta to feed the homeless. Otherwise, you could, if they catch you feeding the homeless, you'll get fined. I think it's like
What?
$126 or something.
You
Or
get
you'll
fined
no,
for
you no,
helping?
no. The permit is like $126. You'll get fined for feeding them if you don't have a permit. But anyway, she set up this whole thing, um, like these to go meals. I had some groceries sent over to her.
Yeah.
She had her whole crew together. They made a delicious, well balanced meal, had drinks, and passed them out. I think they only had like maybe 6 or 7 left.
Oh, that's what's up.
So she's someone who always wants to help, and I think that, yeah,
That's
I
what you would
think I
do.
am too. No, I mean I already do. I mean I don't, you know, I always like to give money. I don't necessarily
Yeah.
give time that
Right.
much, but I would definitely. I mean that's all I would do. Like whatever this foundation was, whatever I thought was really needed. That's where I would pour all my blood, sweat, and tears to.
That's what's up.
And it's so funny because I made a joke yesterday. I told my mother, I said, it feels like we're in, like this is a communist, like we're in a communist society. Like things are scarce and expensive.
Mm.
Like when you can't find boneless chicken thighs, you know what I mean?
Yo.
Like 2 days in a row. Like the 2 days ago, I ordered groceries. First world problems, I know. And I ordered 2 packs because Jackson doesn't, he doesn't eat a lot of food. So barbecue chicken's one of the things. So he has a very limited palate. I hope he doesn't starve when he goes to Spain next month. But it's like the person brought 1 pack, and I was like, did she think I just didn't want her to substitute?
Yeah.
So I ordered again yesterday. The order came with no chicken. I was like, how are there no chicken thighs?
Mm.
Like I read this morning that the inflation is the highest it's been since 1981. Like I remember 1981 and how interest rates were like 23% and inflation was off the charts, and that's where we are. So if we're having these minor inconveniences, like, oh, I mean, gas is $5 a gallon, crazy. My dad always said, whatever it is, you're going to pay it anyway, because if you want to
Facts.
drive. But what about the people who can't afford it? So I mean, there's this
Right.
whole group of people
Um,
who are in the middle, who are just like, it's significant when they can't find, maybe that's what they, you know what I mean, what they're looking to, how they're looking to feed their family, or getting to work, or so there's a lot of people out there
yeah, I think that
that could use help.
we are in a place in our society where we have to stock up when we can. I learned from the pandemic. When do you remember when we ran out of toilet paper and we
Yes.
ran out of sanitizer, we ran out of alcohol, all these things,
Yep.
like we ran out of, and I thought I was a pretty good prepper up to that point, and I realized I wasn't. So now, like, I'm
You
stocked up.
stockpile.
Bruh, like if anything goes left, I'm good for at least 2 months. Like we stockpile, we order toilet paper by the boxes. We order like every hand of God, every time I go into the grocery store or any store, I pick
Okay.
up Lysol, I pick up alcohol, I pick up sanitizer, just out of habit. I literally just have
Okay.
a container full of them. Just because I don't ever
I
want to get
still have a
caught
bunch
slipping.
left over because that same friend who fed the homeless,
Yeah,
here's how she reinvented herself. So she usually, like, she couldn't go into an office, obviously.
right.
So she started delivering emergency supplies, gloves,
Oh,
sanitizer,
that's good.
masks. Um, I mean, I stockpiled. I had so much Lysol and off Lysol. I mean, Walmart brand Lysol, Kroger brand. I mean everything. I mean everything. She had toilet paper. She would go so far is like she knew what days to shop. Like she knew the days. She knew what time to get into the store. She would do it. She would change her clothes.
And then go back in and then to get more stuff because back then a couple years ago you could only buy but so many items. They were limiting
Right.
you on how much stuff you
So
could buy.
she'd buy
Yeah,
well, however much she could buy, go back to the car, do a quick change, and come
and
back
then
and say,
come back
that
and
was
buy
my
some more.
twin. Like once a lady was like, you were just interested. That was not me. That was my sister.
Yeah,
Roll
like
back the tape.
exactly. One of us stays in the car with the stuff while the other one comes inside and shop.
Right. She had her niece. niece is in on it. Like she was like, "Oh, are you going and get this, get that?" So that's what she did. She delivered to the sick in the shut-in. I mean, without her, I wouldn't have had any. I would have had no Lysol or no hand sanitizer. She made. I think she made hand sanitizer too. Like she
Shout out to the homie for
is
reinventing
somebody
herself.
who, yeah, she got her, and then just recently she was doing COVID tests because
Well,
you
she's a
couldn't find
hustler.
them.
Okay, she a hustler.
Hustler, totally
She's a
hustler.
hustler.
She would have pictures of like how like you're making a rap video and then you're leaning on the car and you got stacks of
She
bags
would
of
have what
money.
stacks of
She
toilet paper.
stacks of toilet paper, hands. I mean, that was like it was like that was her porn.
Oh,
Hand
that's funny.
sanitizer, Lysol. What's the one? Microban, Microban, and then the Microban cleaner,
Yeah,
which I love. Yeah. So you're right. I need to I don't stockpile toilet paper, which I
should
probably should.
because we all got a shit.
Um, yeah, okay. But I do still have a lot of wipes and hand sanitizer and all that stuff. I need to, yeah, but I need to do like you do, like you're doing.
Yeah, I got a
Um,
septic system, so I can't use wipes in my septic system. So
no, I mean, yeah, just like not wipes that you flush on the toilet, but just antibiotic wipes, like
okay, cool.
Clorox wipes, stuff like
Yeah,
that. Because I use them in the car. I mean, you get out, and I always keep a bottle of hand sanitizer in the car too. So, all right. So here's the last one, number 10. The thought of a new job excites you.
Mm. Well, I mean, I see. I that's the one I think I may question because I mean, I can get excited thinking about being a fighter pilot, but I don't need to go do it. Like I don't need
Right?
to go figure out how to be a fighter pilot at this point in my life, or I get excited at the thought of running into Megan Good on the street or Rihanna. Even
Oh,
pregnant Rihanna.
are those your
Shit.
girls?
Yeah.
Megan,
So Megan
Megan Good.
Good,
She's so cute.
Rihanna, and Janet Jackson
Okay.
are my exemption
Okay.
list or whatnot.
Okay.
And so my wife knows, no questions asked when it comes to those. And she has hers list too. She has Idris Elba
Mm-hmm.
and Daniel Kaluuya.
Yep.
And yeah, Daniel Kaluuya is Idris and Daniel are her babies. And then what's the boy's name? I forgot his name. But those two, Daniel
Okay.
Kaluuya and Idris Elba, are definitely her. I asked. Oh, Maxwell. I asked no questions. And Lenny Kravitz. I'm sorry. Lenny
He's
Kravitz,
little though.
Maxwell.
Was she short? He's so
Yeah,
short.
Lenny Kravitz, Maxwell, Idris Elba, and Daniel Kaluuya. I asked no
Okay.
questions.
She's got a big list.
Yeah, she got 4. She got a top 4. I got my top 3. I
Mine
mean,
is well, he's too young, but he's so cute. Michael B. Jordan. He's so
he legal.
cute.
He
He's
legal.
so
I mean,
cute.
you good?
And Brad Pitt, but not just any Brad Pitt. I'm talking Ocean's 12 or not a river runs through it. But what's the other one?
I'm
Oh
talking about when he was
gosh.
Bonnie and Clyde, Brad Pitt.
No, 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 no. The one with Anthony Hopkins. Um gosh, they lived in the mountains.
I
Oh
don't got a
my
clue.
gosh. All right. What is it? It was not a river run through. It's the one that came out. Legend of the Fall.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I haven't seen it.
Tristan. Tristan, Legend of the Fall. Like, oh, at the end of that movie, I sobbed. I boo-hooed. I mean, I was like, I know that actress loved him. She had to have.
Yeah,
She
I
had to have
mean,
loved him.
Angela Jolie loved him in Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Oh,
You know,
yeah, yeah. He was at his finest, and yeah, and Mr. and Mrs. Smith too.
yeah, like Brad. Hey, Brad will bag you if he does a movie with you.
I need to do a movie with Brad Pitt now. I did. I actually passed out at the movie theater at a Brad Pitt movie. It was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I like felt lightheaded, and
But I
it
think that's due to your
but it
your
was
other thing. That ain't got nothing to
no
do with
right. It
Brad
was
Pitt.
Basil Vega because he was
Yeah,
getting stabbed, and I had my hands up, and I was like, it was traumatic, and then
yeah,
my heart
exactly.
started racing,
That
and
ain't
then
got nothing to do with Brad.
I was like, I need some air. My girlfriend's like, let's go get some air. Next thing I know, I woke up on the floor. So,
Yeah,
but the doctor told me, he was like, you know what? I once had somebody who passed out watching Kill Bill. He's like, maybe you have a suit against Quentin Tarantino. I'm like, maybe because the gory. I can't do blood and guts in real life. Almost passed out once with my son, hit his lip when he was 2. Like saw the blood and was like, oh, I had to go sit down. So luckily another adult was there. So it's not blood and guts are not me. So
so Brad Pitt's don't win on your list.
Michael B. Jordan, but he's
Michael B. Jordan,
young.
Brad Pitt.
He's
Is there
young.
age ain't nothing but a number? Getting down ain't nothing but a thing.
I like Lakeith Stanfield too. I think he's super
Lakeith, he has a very
sexy.
unique style, right?
I like
Just the
him.
confidence of Lakeith is very dope. You
I
know what I'm saying?
like him. I like him a lot. So yeah, we'll put him on. He looks like he might be short too, but my husband's short, so that's okay. So you're saying that you don't not really buying. You never really
I
thought
don't buy.
about
Yeah,
the.
you can't get excited. Just the thought. I don't like that
I think the thought of doing
because
something new is exciting.
shit. Like, yeah, it is, but that don't mean you need to go do it. Like,
No, but I mean, I'm saying not just go like, hey, I want to go find another job selling whatever I sell for a different company. But the thought of like,
okay,
hey, I want to go from selling something to, I don't know, being an expert in something else. I worked with a girl and actually she's a therapist now. We work together as recruiters and now she's a therapist.
that's what's up. I mean,
Like
I
she went
because
back to school and yeah, so
if you know, you know, recruitment is like therapy. We are
we are.
counselors,
I do feel like, but we
psychologists.
need to get charged. We need to get. So how do we get recharged?
How do we?
That's the thing. It's like when you have nothing. You know what I mean? It's like it takes when I talk with somebody and then they don't get the job and I have to let them know
Mm,
that we're not moving forward. It takes a lot out of me.
that is tough.
Like I have to
Most
deliver
definitely,
that news. Like I have to deliver that bad news.
I
That
find
and then
that to
how
be
do
tough.
we? Yeah, then we've got to, recharge and figure out how we can give more because we do give a lot. We give a lot to everybody.
Everybody gets something.
Don't give your recruiter a hard time. Don't give them a hard time. Okay. People are blaming us for taking jobs too quickly. No, you're greedy. If
Exactly.
some headhunter calls you about a job and you interview on Thursday and you accept the offer on Friday and then you find out on Monday it's not what you thought or 2 weeks later after you on board, whose fault is that? That's not the
You can't
recruiter's
blame the
fault.
recruiter.
Yeah, that's your fault. But I've read article after article where they want to blame the recruiter. So anyway, so this is kind of a three-parter, right? So we're doing the top 10 signs that you know that it's time to find a new job. The next one will be okay. So you want a new job now? What? And then we'll talk about the. I know we keep alluding to this East Coast West Coast um,
Yep.
thing. So
And then the company loyalty thing too.
yes,
Yes.
definitely.
Awesome.
All right. Well, this has been awesome.
This
And
has
this
been awesome.
worked. I hit record, record worked. I think my voice is picking up.
Yeah. I
I
only
love
worry
your
about my fan that I got in the background. I hope it
I
doesn't
don't
fuck the shit up too much.
I don't okay, there was two.
That's two. That's two
That's
on
two.
that one.
I did not hear your fan. Oh, and your flag. Tell us about your flag.
Oh man, yeah. So shout out to Virgin Islands, born and raised in Christiansted, St. Croix in the USVI, and so just got my flag up. I
I
ordered
like that.
a big flag so it can be a backdrop. Now I may actually start doing all my calls like this, like even my work calls with my VI flag in the background.
Yeah, I want a flag. I get a flag of Georgia.
Which one? The Confederate flag?
Right? No. Oh god. Oh, maybe I'll get a yeah, I want a flag. Okay, I'm gonna get a flag because we have green screens. But anyway. All right,
Yeah.
everybody. Thank you for stopping
Appreciate you
by.
guys listening.
All right. Have a great week.
See you when we see you.
Okay, bye.